Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, in this video, we are going to cover top 50 important MCQs from the SARFAESI Act and debt recovery laws, especially for the IBPS law officer exam. So let's start the video. Which reason is excluded from the application of the SARFAESI Act 2002? Applies to the whole of India. The SARFAESI Act is not applicable to any security interest created in which of the following? Agricultural land. What is the minimum outstanding default amount required for a bank to invoke the SARFAESI Act? Rupees 1 lakh. SARFAESI proceedings are prohibited if the outstanding amount is less than what percentage of the principal and interest? 20%. Before issuing a demand notice under SARFAESI, the borrower's account must be classified as non-performing asset. Under Section 13(2) of the SARFAESI, how many days statutory notice is given to the borrower to discharge liabilities? 60 days. If the borrower sends a representation to the 13(2) notice, the secured creditor must reply within how many days? 15 days. What remedy does a borrower have immediately after receiving a rejection reply from the bank under Section 13(3)(a)? No immediate right to appeal. Which specific section of the SARFAESI Act enables a secured creditor to take physical possession of the secured asset? Section 13(4). After taking possession, how many days of public notice is mandated before selling an immovable property? 30 days. If a bank faces resistance in taking possession, it can request assistance directly from which authority? District Magistrate. What is the maximum extended time limit for a district magistrate to pass an order for possession under Section 14? 60 days. What is the legal status of an order passed by the district magistrate under Section 14 regarding court challenges? Final and cannot be questioned. Any person aggrieved by the bank's possession measure under Section 13(4) files an application to the Debt Recovery Tribunal under Section 17. What is the statutory time limit to file an application before the Debt Recovery Tribunal against bank actions? 45 days. What amount of pre-deposit is required for a borrower to file an initial application before the Debt Recovery Tribunal under Section 17? Zero pre-deposit. Appeals against the orders of the Debt Recovery Tribunal under SARFAESI are filed before which forum? Debt Recovery Appellate Tribunal. What is the standard statutory pre-deposit required to file an appeal to the Debt Recovery Appellate Tribunal? 50% of claimed debt. The Appellate Tribunal has the discretionary power to reduce the pre-deposit requirement to a minimum of 25%. SARFAESI is a central registry primarily established for the registration of security interests and asset reconstruction. Within how many days must the creation or modification of a security interest be registered within the central registry? 30 days. Under Section 26(e) of SARFAESI, registered secured creditors hold priority over which of the following? All other debts, including government revenues. Regarding actions taken under the SARFAESI Act, the jurisdiction to grant injunctions is explicitly denied to civil courts. A pledge of movable assets covered under the Indian Contract Act falls under which category regarding SARFAESI? Exempted from SARFAESI provisions. Which statutory body grants registration to and oversees asset reconstruction companies? Reserve Bank of India. Asset reconstruction companies acquire non-performing assets by issuing which instruments to qualified buyers? Security receipts. Debt recovery tribunals and appellate tribunals were originally established under which legislation? Recovery of Debts and Bankruptcy Act. What is the current minimum pecuniary threshold for filing an original application in a debt recovery tribunal? Rupees 20 lakhs. Regarding the filing of recovery applications by financial institutions, the Recovery of Debts Act provides that multiple banks can join and file together. The presiding authority of a debt recovery tribunal is officially designated as the presiding officer. To be appointed as the head of a debt recovery tribunal, a person must be qualified to be a district judge. The person heading a debt recovery tribunal holds office until reaching the maximum age of 65 years. The appellate authority over debt recovery tribunals is headed by an official designated as the chairperson. An appointee to the position of chairperson of the appellate tribunal must have served as a High Court judge or tribunal officer. What is the maximum retirement age for the chairperson of the Debt Recovery Appellate Tribunal? 70 years. Banks file their original application for debt recovery under which specific section of the Recovery of Debts Act? Section 19. Upon the final adjudication of a debt, the tribunal issues which document to the recovery officer? Recovery certificate. Which of the following is not an authorized mode of recovery executed by a recovery officer? Confiscation and cancellation of passports. Any party aggrieved by a directive of the recovery officer can file an appeal to the presiding tribunal within 30 days. Under the Recovery of Debts Act, an appeal from the tribunal to the appellate tribunal must be filed within 30 days. How do the provisions of the Limitation Act 1963 apply to the applications made before the Debt Recovery Tribunal? They apply fully to all proceedings. The tribunal possesses the statutory power to direct a defaulting borrower to do which of the following? Disclose full particulars of all properties. If a borrower attempts to dispose of property to obstruct recovery, the tribunal is authorized to issue an order for attachment before judgment. For the purposes of the Indian Penal Code, proceedings conducted before the Debt Recovery Tribunal are legally deemed to be judicial proceedings. Under Section 18C of SARFAESI, a caveat can be filed before a tribunal by any person expecting an application against them. What is the legal status of a tenancy created by a borrower on a secured asset after receiving a Section 13(2) demand notice? Void against the secured creditor without consent. Based on Supreme Court rulings, cooperative banks hold what legal status under the SARFAESI Act? Recognized as banks capable of invoking the Act. The Central Registry is a government company established primarily by the Ministry of Finance and public sector banks. A presiding officer can be removed by the central government on grounds of misbehavior following a formal inquiry conducted by a sitting judge of the Supreme Court. An asset reconstruction company manages acquired non performing assets acting as a trust or manager for qualified buyers. That's all for today. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next video.